You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC.
Also, a lot of people talking about what's going on in Israel. What are the next steps militarily? And also Gold Star families coming to President Trump's defense after Kamala Harris says it was a political stunt that he went to Arlington National Cemetery. And joining us now to talk about all of this here on Katz and Cosby is Brigadier General Blaine Holt. He's a retired U.S. Air Force Brigadier General, former C-17 combat commander, and also former U.S. Deputy Military Representative to NATO. General Holt, first, your reaction. What does Israel have to do now? Netanyahu said that just a few minutes ago that Hamas is going to feel the pain like never before after executing 6 hostages.
Oh, it's so good to be with you on the show today, but just under what horrible circumstances. And once again, true to form, this administration not standing by our ally in their time of greatest need. And so, right after Vice President Harris made Netanyahu's might go cold, the Israelis have had a stark reminder every single day just about that they have to go this on their own. They have to see this victory through. They've got to cut the head off of this snake and other snakes like it. But keeping Hamas alive will only beget more October 7th. And to be very clear, you feel for all these families. I understand the protesters, but this is a war, and the sad realities are that you don't let your enemy succeed. You will get more of what you don't want, and you will see thousands more killed if they're allowed to survive this.
General, this is former Congressman Pete King. Thank you for your service over the years.
Thank you for yours.
And, thank you. But to me, this would be like if in February or March of 1945, suddenly we were condemning FDR and the United States because some innocent people may have been killed in Germany. I mean, the fact is, it is war. And Israel's not intending to kill civilians, but those things happen. And the ones who caused all this are Hamas. And this whole moral equivalency drives me absolutely insane. Yeah,
and the dearth of leadership out of D.C. is what just throws gasoline on the fire. So go back to your example. FDR had fireside chats for a reason. It was to explain the war that they couldn't see, that was over there, that had to be explained to them when they saw those film footages of this is the bombing of Dresden, this is what 8th Air Force is doing, this is D-Day. That's not what's happening in D.C. In fact, they're doing the opposite when they say things like they did today, saying, well, Netanyahu's not doing enough to create peace. There would be no hostage incident whatsoever had Hamas not engaged in what they did on October 7th. And they took those people for a reason, and you're seeing that reason play out today.
I want to switch gears, too, before we let you go, General. The Gold Star families came out this weekend. That was wild. These are the families who lost loved ones, of course, of the 13 U.S. service members at Abbey Gate during that disastrous withdrawal by the Biden-Harris administration from Afghanistan. And then so Trump goes on the anniversary. He goes to Arlington National Cemetery at the request of the Gold Star families. And Kamala Harris, who, again, was part of the withdrawal, hasn't even said the families' names yet to date. They said she's never called them. They feel like Biden has totally thrown them under the bus. And then she says it's a political stunt. And the Gold Star families over the weekend came out and said, you know what? We invited Trump and they went for it after Kamala Harris. Your reaction?
I just find it reprehensible. Not only do we go back to when the dignified transfer happens in our minds and we remember a president all masked up, not engaging with the families, checking his watch to see when the ceremony is going to get over. Well, this time, instead of just honoring these people that died out of a result of this administration's decisions, he goes to the beach. And she's nowhere to be found. And yet then the day after, at least a president showed up for those people and displayed moral and courage and authority and was there with them. And then they throw rocks at him and to throw gasoline on top of the fire. You've got a former administration official in John Bolton getting out there and also throwing rocks at President Trump for being an honorable, decent human being. hanging a wreath, which any American in this country would like to. And let me remind everybody, this is the same national security team that brought you Kabul and to this world to the brink of World War III, where we find ourselves right now today. Not one resignation, people getting promoted, in fact, and it's just, it's beyond the pale of decency.
And John, you've talked about also just the bad policies that have led to hundreds of thousands of deaths, like Russia, Ukraine.
Between Russians and Ukrainians, 500,000 people have died only because of the way we withdrew out of Afghanistan. So those 500,000 people have to be on President Biden's shoulders.
No, they are. And furthermore, that war there was a deterrable war. It was like a slow-speed, slow-motion train wreck that anybody could have stopped at any time. Putin was very clear. Nobody should condone the thuggery or the violence from the Russian invasion. But just a base out-of-school diplomat who worked in the consular section of the Pakistani embassy could have handled this one. And it's very sad because this weakness now has created global conflict and war almost on every continent now. Asia is on the brink. You've got North Africa. You've got the Middle East. You've got Europe. And no display of leadership at all in fact, quite the opposite. As we go into worlds where we have no strategy, no diplomacy. But don't you worry, we'll get up and tell you that you need to pay more taxes for no apparent reason.
Well, thank you so much, Cheryl, and we'll talk to you again real soon.